Alright guys, so this is we'll just call it the best of CES video, or at least my favorite things that I've seen throughout CES this year, but I'm not going to sugarcoat this. My time at CES was awful. I was pretty much sick the whole time. We had actually just landed from New York about the day before leaving for Vegas, and I had gotten sick on that trip because of the weather, and it just kind of stuck with me throughout the week of Vegas to the point where I don't even remember being in the airport. I do know that we basically left the airport, went straight to the hotel room, and then I was like done that day. So kind of to give you an idea of my layout of CES, my initial plan was the first day of CES to go in and do a lot of the jobs that I had to do. So I had some different things set up from different companies. I was going to visit their booth, check out new products, and do videos on them. But all I could do was go and just record footage of the products. I couldn't actually talk about them because I didn't have a voice. My voice was gone. It was in and out. It just wasn't a good setup altogether. The good thing is, though, the companies were very understanding, and I was able to come back later in the week to do the voiceover stuff. So the way I'm going to do my favorite things during CES video is this is stuff that appeals to me. Now, a lot of CES this year revolved around AI, a lot of robotic stuff, and a lot of that stuff just generally doesn't interest me. I think AI is kind of all over the place. I think it's hit or miss. Some things kind of work, some things kind of don't. And for me, it's hard to get excited about things like that. And then as far as from like the robot aspect, some of it's just weird. Like some of them are dressed as a fox, or they have like this unique look to them, and I don't see how it's going to be incorporated into the world just yet. So those are not generally the things that are going to appeal to me. But from an audio aspect, there are different things that I noticed. We are definitely coming into a time where true wireless earbuds are not the focus anymore. There are certain companies that still are going to be releasing true wireless earbuds, but the main focus, especially from what I can tell in the audio world, are over-the-ear headphones and open-ear earbuds. And that actually is a good thing. I think this is huge because open ear audio again is going to allow people to kind of go about their day-to-day and still listen to things, and their audio doesn't like interrupt them being at work or interacting with people. So I like this. And as far as the over-the-ear headphones, this is why I initially got into an audio channel in the first place. I love over-the-ear headphones. I love open back headphones. I love studio style headphones. So I am a huge fan that this is something that is going to be taking over this year, or at least that's the way it looks like to me. So I'm going to talk about a few different companies. I do have a sponsor for this video, which is OneOdio, and I'm going to include their new Studio Max 1, which I think is very impressive. And this headphone to me stood out because it has so many different ways you can connect. Like it has normal Bluetooth connection, it has 3.5mm wired like standard headphone jack, comes with a 1/4-inch adapter so you can plug it into a turntable or an amp or anything that you have that uses that type of connection. But it also comes with an M1 transmitter that allows you to wirelessly transmit by plugging in to whatever source you're using. So a DJ could be plugged into their deck and have these wirelessly, and it cuts the latency down to 20 milliseconds. So this is some of the best latency that I've seen when it comes to wireless audio, and I think this is a huge step in being able to use this type of headphone professionally. I will have a full review on these, but this is just a brief overview, and this is what I was checking out while I was in front of OneAudio's booth here at CES. And now back to the video. We're gonna go ahead and jump into OpenRock. Now, OpenRock is a company that kind of focuses more on open ear audio products. We've checked out their S and the Pro, but they have the X model coming out this year, which is their flagship model. And more specifically, they sent out the Forbidden City, like a limited edition version to me, which I also saw at CES. And I just think this is cool. I think from the packaging all the way to the 3D design dragon emboss thing that they have on the earbuds, it's just a unique experience, the opening of everything. But the features and everything that these have to offer, which I will have a full video on a little bit later, I think was just really one of those standout products, especially now. It's going to be really hard because every company is coming out with open ear earbuds. Now the next one is from Soundpiece. Now I already know some of their specific models that they have coming out this year, some of which we actually even have videos coming up on very soon, like the Pearl Clip Pro, but they had a prototype of an H3 earbud. This is a multiple driver earbud. It kind of reminded me a lot of like the Opera series. It was something unique because it's not something that I've seen from Soundpeats over the past year or two. It's something that kind of looked like they were going back to their old days of true wireless earbuds. So I'm a huge fan of how this looked. I'm a huge fan of a lot of the features and things that they had that kind of made this stand out. Again, not a lot of information on these because they're not readily available yet. But that is something that definitely caught my eye. And same thing from Earfun. Now, Earfun, they have one pair of true wireless earbuds coming out this year, and that is their flagship model, which is the new Pro 4 Plus. And when you see all of the specs and the features and all of the things, in fact, I was even able to see in a plaque or a frame a teardown of the earbuds and the case, so it showed me everything that was going to be inside, like the motherboard and the wireless coils that's going into the case. It's kind of cool to see things that way, but it's really nice to see that they're going all in with these earbuds. Now, the next product on the list doesn't have anything to do with audio at all, and this is the TCL Nxtpaper 11 Plus. I'm a sucker for writing tablets, especially ones that have like the paper-like surface. A lot of these are black and white. Like I have the Kindle Scribe, which obviously has that same textured screen, but it is black and white. Where the TCL Nxtpaper 11 Plus also gives you the color screen, and it also gives you like the full Android experience. Now, I've tried other color-based e-ink tablets in the past, and the refresh rate and everything is just, it's not generally a good experience. Like you can't really watch videos, or things just don't look smooth. And this is the first time that I've seen an e-ink type display that has color be able to work as smooth as a normal tablet. Like the refresh rate was so smooth. Everything just worked as it did it like a normal tablet, but it had the feel of paper, which means you could write on it, you could draw. I used to be an artist. I still like to draw from time to time. So I like to see that technology is going in this direction. Now, the next items on the list, and this is more so a company, and I never would have paid attention to this company because I don't have little kids at home, but I like what the company MyFirst is doing. This is a company that's trying to build an ecosystem around kids tech. Now, I grew up at a time where like the only thing that had any kind of tech into it was a Teddy Ruxpin, and it just kind of repeated what you wanted it to say. It wasn't anything special, but I thought it was like the most amazing thing at the time. And even with my kids growing up, they didn't have technology even close to what MyFirst is doing. They have smartwatches, they have picture frames, they have smart cameras, drawing tablets, like all of these different things. But what it's doing is giving parents the control over an ecosystem and what their kids can share, while allowing their kids to still feel like they're being creative and still being in a world where, you know, everybody's taking photos and videos and sharing them, but you're able to share them on social media by what's selected by your parents. Now, the S4, this has an AMOLED display on the screen. We have a lot of smartwatches that adults own that don't have this type of display. And they even built like a rewards program where kids, it kind of pushes them to do different activities, including homework, chores, going out for a walk, you know, or playing in the yard or different things like that. And they can earn like carrot reward points. And kids can turn them in to get different wallpapers, different avatars. It kind of gives them goals and different things to shoot for. So it's pushing kids to do things outside of just having a device while still using their device. And the camera that they have coming out has so many different features built into it. In fact, it's even using AI now to kind of alter some images and help with video editing, and it'll even help with titling something based off the content that they're shooting. And again, these different photos the kids can share within the social network circle that the parents approve of. The kids can even journal. It even has it laid out where like a calendar where every day the kid can kind of journal to themselves, and they can even passcode lock this where it does feel like it's for them personally. So again, what MyFirst is doing by building this ecosystem for kids to be able to share within their family, I think I think this is huge. Now, the next thing is something that I've actually had my hands on for a while, and this is an e-bike from Urtopia. More specifically, I've had the Fusion GT model, but being at CES and seeing some of the other models that they have to offer, in fact, they even had this one that kind of unfolded and folded down to be something pretty small. My wife liked this bike a lot. In fact, she saw it as something she could ride across the street because she worked very close to home. The cool thing about this is, since my trip to New York and since my trip to Vegas, I saw the advantages of e-bikes. I saw how much easier it was to get around on these compared to just driving in this type of traffic. You could get around a lot easier. You can kind of lock your bike up, and I could see this being the main mode of transportation if I lived in this type of city. But living where I do now, I love riding the e-bike that I have. Again, I think the Fusion GT is an incredible model. It's carbon fiber, it's very lightweight. It's the first one that's using dual motors. It also has dual batteries, so like I can ride for a very long time, but the dual motors allows this thing to kind of haul ass without even needing to pedal at all. You just, kind of drive it like you would a motorcycle. And you can go in the app and unlock it and do different things. In fact, there's even Chat GPT built into the bike itself. So there's very interesting tech going into e-bikes. And I think e-bikes was another thing that really stood out at CES this year. So that's definitely something that I'm excited about checking out and possibly checking out more throughout the year. And then the last thing that I wanted to include, now this is something just completely off the wall, and this was walking through CES, caught my attention, and I kind of saw what this company had to offer, which is the company Mofft, M-O-F-T. They make cases. They make cases for, tablets like iPads, and laptops and sleeves and wallets and just all kind of different things. But the first thing that caught my attention was a sleeve for my MacBook Air. I had just bought one previously that I wasn't a huge fan of, and then when I saw that they were using this sleeve to also be a laptop stand, and then they broke it down even more to show me that I could also include like the charger. There were different layers inside the sleeve to separate things, but it also stretched where it allowed me to pack a lot of stuff if I needed to and it not scratch my MacBook. Again, that was the first thing that caught my attention. But then this salesperson there showed me it looked like a wallet, but it was basically a tripod Swiss Army knife. Once she attached this to the back of her phone, she showed me that it could be like a selfie stick, it could be a tripod, it could be all of these different things that it was just kind of flipping and becoming, to the point that my wife was with me. She was completely blown away by this because she's somebody that uses her phone to watch content. And when she saw the different ways to be able to use this, we actually ended up walking away from that booth with me buying the sleeve for my MacBook, two of the, we'll call them tripod adapter cases or whatever for the iPhone. She bought one for her and she bought one for our other daughter. And then we also got a wallet because they offer wallets. They showed us some of the things that they have coming up, which is even the wallets that have the Apple AirTag technology built in. But everything about this company revolved around their products being made based off origami. Everything just folded and turned into one thing to the next, and it just had all of these different multiple uses out of one device. And I always love being able to get a lot of different things out of one device that I buy. So the fact that these cases and sleeves could do all of these different things, it was just something that caught my attention. And again, it's not something that you would go to CES, expecting to be blown away by, but it caught my attention. I bought several things from them, and it's a company I think a lot of people should know about. So I wanted to include them in this video. Now, again, this was just my favorite things that I saw during CES. I would say like the big display that I saw from LG that kind of switched and showed the transparency of screens. It's really cool, but it's not something that I'm going to a trade show like excited to see. So I'm more practical with the things that caught my attention. So that's the things that I wanted to talk about. And again, I think this is kind of a sneak peek of some of the other audio stuff that we're going to be talking about on the channel. Several different things from Earfun, Soundpeats. This isn't really a huge surprise. They're companies that I respect anyway. And also at CES, I found that companies like Earfun have only a team of like 30 people. And so it kind of made me see some of these companies differently, and how much they're working so hard to build a brand and make amazing products without oversaturating the market. That's why you don't see things all the time, or so many different variations of one thing, because a team of 30 people, it's kind of hard to just go from one product to the next. You gotta spend a lot of time making sure that that one product doesn't just blow up everything. You need really nice polished products hitting the market, because that represents your brand. And I saw a lot of people that cared about the brands that they worked for. They cared about the products they were releasing. They were asking me all kind of questions because they were really curious as to what works in this market. What are people looking for? What are people interested in? And the fact that a company is able to ask those questions mean they generally do care about the people they're making products for. So not to kind of go down that path, but I just saw a lot of things at CES that I really just kind of refreshed my outlook on tech in general. It made me excited about covering some things again. It made me excited about what this next year is going to have in store. So I needed that. I really needed that. And again, I really did not need to be there feeling like crap the way that I was. It just kind of ruined the experience altogether. But in the end, I saw some cool tech. I definitely felt like there were some things worth sharing, which we shared here. And definitely stick around for all of the other things we're going to be talking about this year. But guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.